For the last 50 years, there's been this hidden financial engine, quietly shaping our entire world, really dictating the flow of power and money. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this secret architecture, the petrodollar system. So let me just start with a question for you. When you think about American power, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it aircraft carriers, maybe stealth bombers, or, the big one, nuclear weapons? Well, what if I told you that its most powerful, most effective weapon isn't really a weapon at all? It's actually something you use every single day, but its true power, well, it operates almost completely invisibly. Yeah, we're talking about the petrodollar system. It's this secret architecture that has propped up the US dollar's dominance across the globe for half a century. So let's dive in and break down exactly how it works. So what is this thing, really? At its core, the petrodollar system is basically an agreement. It's a global framework where the world's biggest oil producers, think Saudi Arabia, agree to price and sell their oil in only one currency, the US dollar. And this is a really, really critical distinction to make. We're not talking about some special petro version of the dollar. Nope. We are talking about the system of trade itself, the actual rules of the game for the world's most vital commodity. And understanding that difference is the key to seeing its incredible power. And the engine that keeps this whole thing humming along is this absolutely brilliant financial loop. It's called petrodollar recycling. This is where the real magic happens. Okay, so let's just follow the money for a second. Say a country like Japan needs oil. It has to buy US dollars first to then pay Saudi Arabia. So now Saudi Arabia is sitting on these mountains of US dollars. What do? They recycle them by investing that money right back into the US, mostly by buying US Treasury bonds. It creates this perfect loop. The world's need for oil ends up directly funding the US government with low-interest loans. So how did a system this incredible even come to be? Well, it wasn't an accident, that's for sure. It was actually forged in a moment of total global crisis, and then sealed with a secret deal that would literally reshape the entire world order. Just look at the timeline here. In 1971, you have President Nixon taking the dollar off the gold standard. That created this huge vacuum. I mean, if the dollar isn't backed by gold anymore, what actually gives it value? Then, boom, 1973, the oil crisis hits, sends markets into a total panic. And out of all that chaos, in 1974, the US saw its chance and struck a secret landmark deal. And here are the terms of that huge agreement with Saudi Arabia. It was actually pretty straightforward. The US offered military protection and advanced technology, and in return, Saudi Arabia agreed to two world-changing things. First, price all its oil only in US dollars, and second, recycle all those profits back into US financial assets. That deal became the blueprint for the entire system. In the results of that one deal, they've been absolutely profound. The petrodollar system became this incredibly powerful engine, fueling America's superpower status in three really distinct ways. Okay, so the first pillar is this constant, almost artificial demand for dollars. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single industrialized nation on Earth needs oil to function. And if all that oil is only sold in dollars, then every single one of those nations has to constantly keep huge reserves of US dollars on hand. This demand, it's not just based on the strength of the US economy, it's basically guaranteed by the world's thirst for energy. The second pillar, now this is where the system goes from just a financial agreement to a seriously powerful weapon. We're talking about unmatched economic leverage. And here's exactly how that leverage works. Since pretty much all international oil trades are settled in dollars, they have to pass through financial systems like SWIFT, which, guess what, are heavily regulated by the US. This gives them an off switch. Through sanctions, they can literally block a country's access, making it nearly impossible for them to buy or sell oil on the global market. It can cripple an economy without ever firing a single shot. All right, the third pillar is this fascinating paradox. It's kind of wild. For the rest of the world to even get enough dollars to buy all that oil, the US has to pump those dollars out into the global economy. And how does it do that? By buying more than it sells, by running a constant trade deficit. So in a weird way, the system actually incentivizes America to consume goods from all over the world, paying with a currency that the world is then forced to hold and recycle right back to them. But after 50 years of dominance, this system is now facing its biggest challenges ever. We're starting to see some pretty significant cracks appearing in this global financial foundation. And right at the forefront of these challenges is this whole movement people are calling de-dollarization. You've got countries targeted by US sanctions like Russia and Iran who are now actively selling their oil in other currencies. You've got major economic blocs like the BRICS nations exploring alternatives. And of course, China is pushing hard for its own currency, the yuan, to play a much bigger role in the global oil trade. So let's look at where things stand right now. The US dollar is still, without a doubt, the king of the oil trade, overwhelmingly dominant. But that second bar, the one representing other currencies, yeah, it's small, but it's growing. And that's a trend that you just can't ignore. But you know what? There's a much bigger, almost existential challenge on the horizon. And it's not just a move away from the dollar, it's a potential move away from oil itself. The global shift we're seeing towards renewable energy threatens the very petro in the petrodollar system. So all this raises the ultimate question, doesn't it? What happens as the foundation of this 50-year-old system starts to erode? I mean, what does the future of global finance and power actually look like? For half a century, the petrodollar has been so much more than just a payment system. It has been a quiet, immensely powerful pillar of the global order, dictating financial flows and projecting American influence all across the globe. And that leaves us with a critical question for the next decade. As geopolitics keeps shifting and the world's reliance on oil eventually starts to decline, will the dollar's incredible dominance fall with it? And if it does, what comes next? That right there is the new great game, and it's something we should all be watching.